Anesthesia. What is it? What does it want from us? And who needs it? Well, not me, apparently, because this is a story about the time I was hospitalized for moderate to severe ulcerative colitis and on a medical technicality got to watch my own flexible sigmoidoscopy on TV as if it were the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Fun stuff, so stay tuned. My name is Austin, and I can't believe I'm sharing this because I'm generally a pretty private person, but I don't know, maybe just having IBD and getting pretty close to having my colon cut out has just made me not care as much about things. So a sigmoidoscopy, for those of you who don't know or are curious, is a surgical scoping procedure that is quite similar to a colonoscopy, except that the probe is not as invasive in the sense that it doesn't go as far up the pipes as the colonoscopy will. It just goes to visit the sigmoid colon, which is the part of the large intestine that is past the rectum and goes up just a little bit here on the side. And what does a sigmoidoscopy check for? Like, why did I get one? Well, in my case, it was to get up inside my very inflamed colon to check the status of the ulcers, as well as to get a biopsy to finally get a firm diagnosis of ulcerative colitis, which I did not have at the time of being hospitalized. All right, so that's enough informational background, and I actually looked it up online, and it's not entirely uncommon for patients to not be sedated for this procedure, which of course makes me feel less special, unfortunately. However, I will say it did seem to be the impression that I got from this hospital, at least, that most patients do receive some kind of anesthesia before going in. That was just the vibe that I was getting. And for the life of me, I can't remember exactly why I wasn't put under for this procedure. It was probably a mix of things, like either the medicines I was on, or the fact that my hemoglobin was like on the floor and I was super anemic, or just the general state of health I was in was like not very good at the time. But whatever it was, they came in and they said, hey, listen, sorry, we're not gonna be able to sedate you for this. And I said, you know, cool, fine, whatever. I don't even really fully understand what's going to happen in there. So I guess if you say it's fine, it's fine. And so shortly after that conversation, it was time to start the prep work. Now, for a colonoscopy, you prepare by drinking what feels like a gallon of prescription laxative, which is real gross and obviously has consequences that are less than fun. For a sigmoidoscopy, on the other hand, the prep work may include a saline enema. And if you're not hospitalized, this is something that you'll do in from a kit at home on your own before you come in for the procedure. But since I was in the hospital, I got a warm water saline enema administered by a nurse. Luckily, she was like a middle-aged, experienced nurse and not some, you know, recently graduated college nurse who I may or may not have gone to school with, because I don't know if I would have been able to recover from that one. That would have been rough on the pride for sure. Anyways, I don't know about you all, but for me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of clinically necessitated rectal injections, especially when I'm not the one in charge of, you know, like, getting it up there. And also when it's a large volume of warm water and I am on a hospital bed, and also I have colitis. So, speaking of which, my UC symptoms at the time are like, they're pretty bad. I'm going to the bathroom like 15 to 20 times a day easily. There's blood, there's diarrhea, it's the whole 9 yards. And I basically have no control over my bowels during this time. So when I have to go, there's really like a 15 to 45 second window or it's game over. So the fact that this is happening on like the hospital bed is freaking me out big time. Generally speaking, as a matter of pride and dignity, I am trying to avoid having an incident or an accident related to my UC at all costs, at all times. And so just like the bed, the place where you sleep, that's like a personal hell scenario for me. And what do you know? I've got a one-way ticket and we are just chugging along here. The nurse can tell that I'm a little discomforted by this, obviously, and so she's trying to like ease things a little bit. She's telling me, oh, it's gonna be fine, you know, we do this all the time, you're gonna do great, it's going to be easy, just try to hold it in for like 10-15 minutes and that'll be that. And I'm thinking, did she just say 10 to 15 minutes? 10 to 15 minutes? Like, to me, this concept is hysterical because like, I can give you 2. I can give you 2 minutes maybe. Like, that's where I'm at with things in terms of my ability to hold things in. So anyway, I get into the instructed position and by doing so, send off just a little bit of my dignity in the same way that a small sad British boy in red rain boots might send off a paper boat into a misty pond that's destined to sink in the next 4 minutes. And countdown goes 3, 2, 1, bam, and I am just instantly in discomfort town. It felt like so much liquid was going into my body and all going, you know, the wrong way on a one-way street. For me, at least, it just immediately felt like I had to go to the bathroom or like I was in the middle of already going to the bathroom. Like, the sensation is just uncomfortable and bizarre. Not only that, but like I had to clench literally every muscle in the lower half of my body to keep this thing in. Like, if my glutes were any tighter, I swear the skin around the seal of my rectum would have just fused together from the pressure, and I would have lived the rest of my life out like the human equivalent to a Ken doll. Which, now that I think about it, wouldn't have been so bad because it would definitely fix the bowel frequency problem. So, anyways, I last like 2.5 minutes, you know, which for me is super uncommon. I don't know what happened here. I'm sorry, this is weird. This is weird for me. But yeah, there was no making it to the bathroom with this one, unfortunately. So like my big fear had definitely come true, which was the worst, and I hated it. But they had laid down precautions, of course, and so it wasn't like a real problem, except for maybe my mental health. So at this point, I feel like, you know, like when a fish is out of water and it's like flapping around a lot and then it stops flapping around, but you know that it's like holding on to a few more flaps, but it's just bidding its time a little bit. That was me. I was just kind of like, but soon enough, the GI tech team comes to grab me. They put me on one of those mobile rolling beds, and I get to swing around a few corners like a POV shot from Scrubs, and we wind up in the GI surgical room, and they put on some EKG stickers for heart monitoring. And for the record, they definitely did not hurt at all coming off, even like a lot of bits, so that was awesome. And the GI staff there was really cool. Like, it was just a regular Wednesday for them. They were really chill people. I was joking around. They were joking around. Then it was time to get the flexible tube with a light claw and camera that would be shoved up into my stuff. So things got real in that moment. So they explained to me briefly how things were going to work exactly. I was just going to lay on my side and shift around if they needed to get a better angle, I guess. And what was super cool is that the position I was laying in, I was actually able to see the TV monitor that had the feedback from the end of the sigmoidoscopy scope. So I was actually able to see everything that the surgeon was seeing as the procedure was happening. So front row seats to the show. Admission me. So what does it feel like? It is a weird, wacky sensation to be awake and have a scoping instrument, you know. And so what it really feels like is it feels like you are in the middle of a bowel movement, but there's nothing coming out. And so it's really discomforting, and it's not a sensation that your body is like used to at all, and kind of like a psychological mind frick a little bit. So you're watching the monitor of the video feedback of the mechanical snake that has been injected into your rectum and is currently contorted itself around your large intestine. And what gets really wacky is when the biopsy starts. So you've got this claw that, you know, is pinching at the ulcers to get you know, samples. And so you're watching a part of your you're watching a part of your body that you've never seen before and doesn't, have foreign objects in it. And you can see it go to claw, and then you can feel it in a place where you don't really feel things that you see interact with. Does that make sense? Like, it's just trippy. The whole thing was really trippy and felt super weird. So anyways, like I said earlier, it's not a particularly long procedure. They went in there, they got what they needed to get, and then they were out. Afterwards, there was a little bit of discomfort because, foreign object with pincers in your body, grabbing stuff that's there. I think I did have a little bit of blood from, like, a little bit of, maybe it wasn't from it at all. Maybe it was just my regular UC. And so I was rolled back to my room, and then not too long after that, I got the official diagnosis of my moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, which is why we did the whole thing. If you'd like to know more about my UC journey, you can check out my channel or click on the playlist link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I tried to keep this more on the lighter, more comical side. So please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment if you've had this experience or just want to chat about your life with IBD. That's chill too. And we'll see you next time. So bye.